All right. Thank you all. Let's start with some introductions, and we'll start off with Reverend Laura Kim Joyner. Would you say hello?
Hello, everybody. So good to see you. I am a Unitarian Universalist minister and wildlife veterinarian, and I'm affiliated with the Community UU Congregation of White Plains, New York.
And Laura Profitt.
Let me unmute myself. Hi, I'm Lara Profitt. I am the DRE for Congregation in Virginia. I'm also the consulting DRE for Congregation in Rhode Island, and I am a teacher and curriculum writer with the Smithsonian National Zoo.
Thanks, Laura. And representing UU Animal Ministry is Lee Scott.
Hi, so I'm a board member for UU Animal Ministry, and what we are is a group of concerned UUs and friends who want to express our faith in part through compassion toward all beings. We have chapters all across the United States, and we work very diligently at the local level.
Thanks, Lee. And Amelia Diehl.
Hey everyone, so good to be with you all. I'm Amelia. I'm the network coordinator for the UU Young Adults for Climate Justice Network, and also recently taking on a position doing communications work for UU Ministry for Earth.
Awesome. Thanks, Amelia, and thank you so much to UU Animal Ministry and UU Ministry for Earth and Laura Kim and Laura for making this amazing program possible today. So to start us off, we have a chalice lighting with Reverend Laura Kim.
So let us each be our own chalice today. We can make our chalice with our hands. And if you would like to say the chalice lighting words with me, that would be great. They'll be on the screen. The earth is a fantastic school for the animals teach us to care, and that's cool. They are different in many species you see, and this is called biodiversity. The world is wonderful with them all here, and no one can survive without them near. For every little thing is essential to life on earth, and every little thing has dignity and worth. And so welcome each and every one. We light the chalice as a beacon for the world with our care and through our celebration to help guide us in how we can care for life on this earth, how we can welcome all life and be welcomed in return.
And now, go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say, one of my responsibilities is talking about our group covenant. We have adults and children attending this session today, and so we wanted to go over just a couple of reminders for people. One of them is that, I should look at my list. There we go, thanks. One of them is to be respectful, which means stay on topic in the chat and remember to mute yourself. And also remember that if your camera's on, we can see you. And so if you don't want to be seen, I would definitely turn the camera off. The other thing I wanted to remind you of was that sometimes we're going to ask for examples or for your thoughts. Most of the time this will be in the chat, but other times it will be in the discussion group we have later. And so remember to take turns. Move up when you want to share something interesting that you know, but also move back to allow other people the chance to share too. So if we can keep to those they're not rules, those agreements, I think we'll have a pretty smooth and fun learning experience.
Thanks, Laura. And now we'll have a story time with Laura Kim and some special guests.
And I don't know, Aly, if we want to let people know that they can be on speaker view if they want to see a larger picture of this time that we'll be spending together and see our guests. So again, let me just say how great it is to be here. I think that I was asked to be because I'm both a Unitarian Universalist minister and a wildlife veterinarian, and really not just wildlife, just birds actually, and not just birds, but parrots. I am a parrot veterinarian. Parrot veterinarian, you're no parrot. Hello, great green macaw. Oh, hi. No, what I meant to say is that I'm a human, but I take care of parrots, so I'm a parrot veterinarian. Oh, I want to take care of parrots. I want to be a veterinarian. I've always wanted to be one. What does it take to be a veterinarian? Well, it's a lot of school and a lot of work, but maybe more than anything, you have to have a compassionate and caring heart, and your heart has to be strong. Oh, I have a strong heart. Parrots fly far and fast, so I could be a veterinarian, but Lord Tim, you don't fly. Why do you need a strong heart? Well, the earth is a sad place right now, and we're losing our biodiversity. What is that? Well, biodiversity means that we have all the species that evolved to be here, many hundreds and thousands, and they're all healthy, and they're in healthy relationship. Oh, that's not like my home. Oh, where do you live? Well, I live in Central America. Oh, why don't you tell everybody here about what's going on with you and your people? Everybody? Yes, everybody watching. There are people watching? Don't worry, it's just Zoom, it's normal. So I've got some slides of you and your people. Why don't you start off the slideshow and we'll see more about this. Oh, okay. Okay, how does this work? Oh, right. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, that's a little complicated. It is a little complicated. So here I am. I'm flying over the forest, and I love the forest, and it's where I raise my children. But there aren't that many of us left anymore because, well, why is that? Well, it's because people take us. They want us to be pets in their homes, and so they catch us, they take our children from us and our babies, and they ship them all over the world so we can be part of the wildlife trade and they can have them in their homes. Oh, I know about that. That's how come I know you. I work with you down in your country where you're from. Yes, and I appreciate that, but it's not enough because we're also losing our forests. Oh, what's happening to your forest? Well, wildfires and people want to put in big farms and little farms, and we need the trees. We nest in them and we eat the nuts and the flowers from them. Oh, I see. But the forests also need you. They need us. They do. See, you fly around, you and other parrots, you fly around. Woo, we fly. That's right. You fly around with seeds in your mouth and you drop them. You're known as what's called a seed disperser. A what? It means you fly around and you drop seeds. In other words, you're the farmers of the forest. Farmers? That's right. We could not have a biodiverse, healthy forest without you and other parrots flying around and dropping seeds. The forest needs you. Ooh, and you need the forest, and we need the forest, so we need parrots. Oh, but not just me, Laura Kim. You need monkeys and insects and flowers and even the dreaded scarlet macaw. Why do you say dreaded scarlet macaw? Well, we fight for nests, and some people say they might be prettier than us. Oh, you're very pretty. Yes, great green macaw, you are very, very pretty. Oh, hello, scarlet macaw. You're not here to take my nest. Wait, you two, don't fight. We need all of us together. You're both wonderful and beautiful, and you both have inherent worth and dignity. And so it's not a competition, you all. And it's kind of sad because you're both endangered. Endangered? Well, you know, there's not many of you left. Oh, oh, it's true. It's true. There's not many of us left. But you know, we've got all these people here that are going to help you, especially you, Great Green Macaw, because there's even fewer of you than there is of Mr. Scarlet and Ms. Scarlet Macaw. Oh, I win. It's not winning if you get off the planet. We want to help you all, and we've got all these people that are watching us. There are people watching us? Yes, Scarlet Macaw, it's called Zoom. Oh, and they're here to help by celebrating Biodiversity Day. Oh, this is great. I'm going to go fly off and tell my flock about this. Oh, okay. Bye-bye, Great Green. Bye-bye, Great Green Macaw. Woo. Do you really think that celebrating Biodiversity Day is going to save me and my kind? I think it's a start, but will it be enough? I know we need to do so much more. Yes, we do. But I think we're going to be able to do it, to be able to save me and my family. These like us so we can keep flying free like this? Yes, I think that we are going to be able to help. You see, these people, they're Unitarian Universalists like I am. And that means they take the principles of where every being is important and has worth and dignity, and that there is a web of life, and we respect that. And so we have to go out and help people, such as I'm doing here. Oh, I know some of those macaws. You help them. Well, yes, I help a little bit, but mostly what I do is I help the people who help them. Oh, the people who live there. So I go to be with them. It's called being in solidarity with them so they can take care of their wildlife. Oh, and you know what? How you take care of wildlife? No. Well, you have to take care of the people too. Oh, because see, if the people aren't doing well, the parrots aren't doing well, and neither is the forest. And so we have to make sure that we help people where they are so they can take care of their wildlife. Oh, so helping biodiversity means taking care of people too. Well, that's right. None are free until all are free. What does that mean? Well, I think you know, and I think the people watching us know what that means too. Think about it for a minute. Well, I think it means that if we want healthy environments, and we have to make sure that everybody's healthy, and no more endangered species, and we need healthy forests, and the health of one. Well, if one is sick, we're all sick. That's exactly what that means. That's exactly what it is. And so what we want to do is help everybody, because if our ecosystems, that means the forest and all the animals in them, if they are not doing well, then it means that the birds are not doing well. And so what we want to do is keep our systems healthy by having all our animals do well. Otherwise, we get into trouble like with the coronavirus. Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, it's causing a lot of harm. It's hurting a lot of people. And it comes out because we didn't take care of our biodiversity. We didn't take care of the animals and the plants and the people where there are that. And so we had a vulnerable environment, and along came the coronavirus. Oh, I've heard about that. I'm so sorry for your people. And I'm sorry for your people too. But we have people who can help all those people out there. I mean, even from their homes, they can help. That's right. It's biodiversity. They can learn about animals. They can help animals right where they are. They don't need to travel. Just from their own home, they can do so much. Oh, that is such good news. That's worth squawking about. Rah! It is. It is. Well, I'm going to go tell my flock now. So I'm going to go now too and let all those people get back to work. Yes, let's do that. Bye-bye, Scarlet Macaw. Fly free. Bye-bye.
All right. It's my turn now. I'm Lara Profitt, and I get to do one of my favorite things, which is share information about animals. Often when people think of animals that are endangered or threatened with becoming extinct, we think about parrots or pandas. But unfortunately, there are animals in every region of North America, every region of the world that are threatened with extinction. And so what I did was I went through the geographical list of the United States and found animals from each region that are threatened with extinction. And my first one is one from my home area, the Virginia big-eared bat, who has really big ears. If you see, they're a third the length of his body. Virginia big-eared bats live in caves, and they have to live in very particular kinds of caves that are made out of limestone and keep a very regular temperature. They eat insects. They eat a lot of the insects that can be hard for humans to deal with. They will eat wasps. They will eat lacewings, flies, moths. They help keep the insect population in an area in balance. But unfortunately, because people have started exploring caves more, the bats are running out of places to live. They don't like being bothered by people in their homes. And so if people start exploring the caves they live in, they will leave and they won't come back. That is one of the reasons that they're threatened. The other reason is because of deforestation. They live in parts of West Virginia and Kentucky where people are either cutting down the trees for logging or they're doing strip mining. So when those trees disappear, the food that the bats eat disappears as well. And then the bats don't have the food or a place to live. And so they die out. So that is one of the animals I was going to talk about today. The next one is the Gila monster. This one is in the Southwest United States. There's also, it has a relative in Mexico as well. Gila monsters have a bad reputation. People are generally scared of them. They look a little creepy, I guess. And there are lots of myths that go around about their venom. People tend to believe they're much more poisonous than they are. They are venomous, but their bite won't kill a healthy human. The other interesting thing about these Gila monsters is that even if you found one, they are very, very slow. You would have to be very slow as well to get caught by the Gila monster. So they're really not as dangerous as people believe they might be. And that is one of the reasons they're threatened, is because people are scared of them. And so they will kill them. The other problem that Gila monsters run into is that they're lizards. They need to have a cool place to stay during the day, since they live in one of the hottest areas of the United States. But when their habitat is disturbed, when we build things or when we start taking away that quiet desert habitat, they do not have places to cool themselves and rest during the day. So they don't have a place to live, and that is why they are threatened. One of the really cool things about Gila monsters that I found out is that scientists have been doing research based on Gila monster venom, and they found potential medications for diabetes and for Alzheimer's disease using that venom from the Gila monster. So that's one of the interesting ways that Gila monsters can help us, and obviously a reason why we need to be way more respectful of them. All right, I have two more animals. The next one is from the Pacific Northwest. This is actually an insect. This is called the Taylor's Checkerspot butterfly. All butterflies are indicators of a healthy ecosystem. If you have a lot of butterflies in your area, it means that they have pollen to eat, and it means that there are other critters there to eat the butterflies. We know that butterflies are pollinators. They also provide pest control, because sometimes they eat the tiny little mites and critters that live on our plants and that can actually cause the plants to die. The critters, not the butterflies. I mentioned that they're an important element in the food chain because insectivores eat butterflies. These particular butterflies are under extreme risk for extinction because their habitat is being destroyed. They like to live in prairies, so flat areas with lots of grass and flowers. And when we build on those, we take away the grass and the flowers that the butterflies need to live. The other problem that they're facing is, of course, pesticide use. When we use pesticides to try to get rid of mosquitoes or other pests in fields for crops, those can also kill the pollinators. And so when we don't have pollinators, we don't have anybody to help pollinate the plants to grow those crops or anything else that we need. And I bet you can learn in your area about other butterflies and pollinators that are under threat as well. Finally, my last animal is actually a mussel. This is one that people may not think about very often. These are dwarf wedge mussels. They're super tiny. If you see that dime there, they're very small. They're smaller than a dime. They live in New England and in eastern Canadian freshwater streams. I learned so many cool things about mussels while I did this research. Mussels are ecosystem engineers. They actually help clean the water, get rid of bacteria and fungi. They help make the aquatic environment better for other living creatures and plants that live in streams. And their shells provide space for algae and insect larvae to attach and grow. They create underwater gardens for the aquatic life in streams. They can also live 10 to 12 years. I had no idea that mussels could live that long. But they are under threat as well because flooding has been a problem and it will wash away the mussels and the places they attach. Agricultural runoff, which means when farmers use insecticides or other kinds of chemicals on their crops or for their animals, those insecticides go into the ground and become part of the water source. And then the water is full of those chemicals that can kill the mussels. So finally, one of the things about these mussels that was very concerning for me is that often we will protect big bodies of water like bays or large rivers, but we don't protect the small streams and creeks that feed into those rivers. And when we don't protect those creeks and streams, this is where the mussels live. And without that protection, they run the risk of becoming extinct. They're already extinct in eastern Canada, and they're trying very hard in New Hampshire and Maine to keep these mussels within their creeks and rivers. So those were my interesting, local, to some people, endangered species. I wondered if anybody else knew of any endangered species in their area that maybe other people may not have thought of. If you have, you can put them down in the chat box and we can see if anybody also has some interesting ones. Oop. Bald eagles, yes. The lynx, the Canada lynx, that was one of my choices for today and I didn't do it, but they're really cute too.
Thanks, Laura. So let's keep them coming. If you know of an endangered species, you can write it in the chat box. And we are going to, wow, the jaguar, the gnatcatcher of California. Saw the ocelot up here. Very cool. So we want to invite you all to do something to recognize endangered species where you live. And so Amelia and I are going to talk a little bit about our call to arts. And this is an opportunity for eco art making of local endangered species. And then we'll join together as UUs and have a procession of species. So you'll learn a little bit more about what that means in this talk. So here's the invitation. 1, learn about the endangered species where you live. And 2, make eco artwork representing that species. And then share your story. Take a picture or a video or do things that are creative with your artwork. Maybe take it out to, you know, find a way to use the art to show other people about this species and use it for bringing more people into awareness. And then join together, bring your species representing your home and your ecosystems to big UU gatherings where we can all honor the species of our homes together. So we call that our procession of species, and we will talk more about that. So first, research about the endangered species where you live. So we have, here's just a picture. I live in Austin, Texas. And so what I did is I just looked up endangered species near Austin, Texas, and I got a bunch of results. But I want to also encourage you to do some research. You can also do this with your family. You can talk to experts. Maybe someone in your family or in your congregation is a biologist or an environmental educator, or someone who can help teach you more. And there's also a lot of cool videos. Maybe you have some videos you could watch about what your local ecosystem is like, or stories of endangered species in your area. And I want to mention there's endangered plant species too, not just animals. So you can look up plants and animals, or maybe even a fungi, and see what's going on with the whole web of life. So next, make some artwork. I'm going to show you a few examples. This is a project we began a few years ago, and this is an image from the General Assembly, which is the big UU gathering where all the churches come together once a year in June. And this is an orca whale puppet that was made last summer with the Corvallis, Oregon UU Church, the Eugene UU Church, and UU Ministry for Earth. And then we took it to Spokane for the General Assembly. So this is a really big puppet. It took a lot of work. And this is something you probably don't want to attempt at home by yourself, but something that maybe you can plan to do together in the future over the next year. Unless you just happen to have a really amazing artist in your family. So there's no limits except, you know, the limits of reality. But we encourage artwork big and small. So here's a few examples. This is a puppet of a California condor that was made by the neighborhood UU RE class in Pasadena. And then here's this is what a California condor looks like. Here's a photo of a California condor flying. And you can see it's a pretty great puppet. And they use the same, we use these poles like you see here for the flag ceremonies at the General Assembly. So that's a great thing to think about. You already are going to bring one of those flag poles to GA with your congregation when you bring the banners for each congregation. So you could also use that same banner or that same pole, or think of another way to put a puppet or a banner. So here's one example of a puppet. And then here's an example of a banner that was painted. This is from my congregation, and here's the golden-cheeked warbler. So this is another photo from the Procession of Species last summer, and as you can see, it's also really cool. This is a species that actually has a particular kind of tree that it needs for its nest, and the tree is also endangered, and so it's harder and harder for the birds to build their nests because they're having a harder time finding the trees that they need. And then in Austin, we we took this banner home from the General Assembly, and then there's currently a pipeline that they're building through the habitat of the golden-cheeked warbler. And we took this same banner to a court hearing about the pipeline. So this is an example of how you can use this artwork, not just for the procession of species, but you can keep taking it to the Earth Day parades, taking it to local events or local protests to help bring that awareness of the web of life into your community. And then you can also make costumes. So here are some orca whale costumes, again seen at the Procession of Species last year. And then you could see what the orca looks like. It's got a white belly and a black top. And so these are all things you can do. And then you can be incredibly creative. Here is a picture from the Procession of Species last year. And all of these are people holding umbrellas. And together with all of our bodies, we made a big orca whale. And we said, save the orca and restore the salmon, which is what the orcas need for food. So we have, again, a situation where the species need each other. And so what Laura Kim told us earlier, we need to make sure all the species are doing well and are in balance and working together. So you can do creative things like this and take pictures from above and make a species out of objects you find. You can do anything you can think of to make eco artwork about your species. So next I'm going to pass it to Amelia, and she'll invite you to share your story.
Yeah, so we really want to encourage folks to really kind of raise awareness about these different species wherever you are. So though we can't gather in person at General Assembly this year, we'll definitely keep this celebration going on in other ways. So Ministry for Earth, oh, let's see, I guess, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, so this year we'll have sort of a digital procession of the species. So we will come up with sort of a template to help you guide you through your research a little bit. So thinking about, yeah, like why are these species endangered and how do they fit into your ecosystem and your biome where you live? And different ways of, you know, supporting them, whether that's through writing letters or working on legislation, or maybe something you're already involved in your community, and what's really kind of special about this species, and have you interacted with it before? What are some stories about it? So we'll help guide you through that, and then if you want to make some art, share it with us. And so even though we have one day of the year that's the World Day for Biodiversity, we want to be celebrating these species and protecting them throughout the year, right? So we're going to have an ongoing series of featuring the species that you research and your community celebrates and makes art about. And this will go into an ongoing series of blog posts that anyone can read. And this will also help us make connections across these species and ecosystems, right? Because they're all connected. Once you kind of find one, you'll actually see that it's all kind of part of this bigger story, right? Of how we all need to work together and to create one healthy ecosystem that helps all of us. So we will follow up with you with those resources really soon. And as Aly said, we also really encourage you to get creative and use these species in a variety of ways, whether that's your religious education program, or maybe it's in a service, or maybe it's in a street protest or street theater, anything like that. So that's, and then hopefully next summer, we'll come together with all of these and we'll have learned a lot about all these different ecosystems.
Yes, so right now we're hoping that the UU General Assembly next summer, June 2021, will take place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we are planning to have our Procession of Species as part of the opening ceremony for the next General Assembly. So, you know, of course, this will require that the current coronavirus pandemic is at a point where it's safe for us to gather in person, but we can hope and pray for that, and in the meantime work together locally. So that is the invitation to join the Call to Arts and the Procession of Species. And at this point, what we'll do is we will just have a bit of discussion, open up the floor to share, stories about your local species, especially younger participants of the call. We want to invite you to ask any questions you have for Lara Kim about the work she does with parrots, or also just to share ideas or inspiration you have for the art that you want to make, or the species that you know about in your areas.